Ready? Please rise in body or spirit for our processional hymn, number 358, Rank by Rank Again We Stand, in the gray hymnal and with an additional fourth verse on the screen.
Gathered here.
Welcome to the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. This is a place where many paths meet, where we honor the rich tapestry of spiritual traditions that weave us together, and where all are welcome to responsibly explore their own connection to the sacred. We are a vibrant, growing community, and we are glad that you have joined us today as we welcome Reverend Leslie Runnels, where'd you go, into settled ministry with our congregation. Woo. Where'd you go? Oh, snuck up on me. Okay. We begin our ceremony with greetings from the UU clergy and colleagues who were unable to be with us today.
Dear friends of the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship on the Crystal Coast of Eastern North Carolina, I'm the Reverend Kimberly Johnson, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the South Fork on the eastern end of Long Island in New York. I bring you greetings from one small coastal congregation to another. I want to offer my congratulations to you as you install your new settled minister, the Reverend Leslie Runnels. What a glorious time for you. I wish you many years of fruitful shared ministry as your congregation continues to grow and as you all with Reverend Leslie continue to thrive in your shared ministry together. I wish you all the greatest peace and the enduring love of this faith. Congratulations.
Greetings, y'all, from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm the Reverend Sarah Osborne, and I am delighted to send blessings and greetings to Reverend Leslie Reynolds and your congregation on this momentous occasion of the installation of her ministry at your congregation. Reverend Leslie and I have gone back to the beginning of our ministerial formation, and this is such a long time coming and so gratefully received. I am so happy for all of you, and I wish you nothing but the best in the coming years in your relationship with one another and to your service and ministry out in the wider world. Unitarian Universalism is blessed by you all. Congratulations, Leslie.
Hello, my name is Katie Shivani Gelfand. I'm a UU ministerial aspirant and seminarian, and I bring you greetings from New Orleans, Louisiana, from the UUs, witches, weirdos, and mystics of New Orleans. Congratulations on this joyous celebration of Leslie's installation. I'm so happy for all of you, and I send you blessings and joy upon all of your work together. May it be meaningful, transformative, magical, and healing for you all. Congratulations.
And it is my deep joy in joining you for the installation of Reverend Leslie Runnels. I bring you greetings from Ever Unfolding, a new community ministry of accompaniment and creation, and as an affiliated community minister for love and liberation with our Church of the Larger Fellowship. I have had the great joy and honor of knowing Leslie across time and space. We began to learn about each other as lay leaders in post-flood New Orleans. We learned more and more as members of the Conscious Living Covenant group, and we became friends. Slowly, in the friendship, I learned more and more as a Sioux artist, following her, and one day, Leslie let me know that I was an artist too. It's one of the greatest gifts a human can give another, and I thank you always for it, Leslie. I trust that you are bringing that great care and gift to this fabulous fellowship. It is such a joy to know that you all have each chosen wisely to care and create together, to faithfully hold a sacred space, a community, a beloved community, where all
wishing you every blessing of joy and well-being, beloveds. Happy installation.
We also want to offer deep appreciation to our distinguished guests joining us in celebration tonight. Mayor Lee Stiles. Mayor Sharon Harker. Reverend Robin Smith. Reverend Todd Humphrey. Reverend Lynn Gaudette. And Reverend Gerald Gaudette. Reverend Jeff Roy. Tracy Mancini. And last but not least, Mark Rasdorf. And a warm welcome to many community partners and leaders who are joining us tonight. We look forward continuing to build on the relationships we have already nurtured as we work and play to bring justice and healing to our communities. And our call to worship by Reverend Alyssa Lee.
I have heard that in your blessings of peace to one another, you wish for the deep peace of the running wave. May the shared ministry which we are gathered to honor here today be like that wave, moving together, moving with knowledge of your power to change one another and the power to change the community that surrounds you, moving with the insight that you bring with you, that together you not only possess power and change, but also gentleness and calm, and a respite from the din of the world. May we remember today as we celebrate the installation of Reverend Leslie and her shared ministry with this congregation, that each of you is part of that wave. You move together, buoyed by the covenant you have made with one another. Alongside Reverend Leslie, you get to decide just how your ministry will flow, how the sunshine will reflect off this congregation and magnify the work you do together. As you journey along, you will continue to ask yourselves, where and how will we move? How high will our wave rise? And when an inevitable ebb appears, you will work together to gather yourselves up, reach again toward the shore, and hold each other in peace and love and commitment while you travel together wherever your destination may be. What a blessing that journey will be to you all as you commit yourselves again and again to work together as a beloved community, always searching toward a lasting, deep peace. Come, let us worship together as we celebrate your shared commitment to the ministry of this congregation.
Okay. Now for our chalice lighting, we have Susan Fetzer and Charlie Runnels.
The flaming chalice was lit for the first time in this county 45 years ago when a new Unitarian Universalist congregation formed. Starting with 14 founding members, we met in homes and then bought a building on Evans Street that another church had outgrown. This Bridges Street property was purchased in 2020 and the remodeling and new construction completed in 2022. And is now the home to 100 members plus many friends. Early on, it was recognized that the chalice would burn even brighter in collaboration with professional ministry. After a succession of part-time ministers, UCF called its first full-time minister in 2003. Today, we light this chalice as Reverend Leslie Runnels is installed as our second full-time settled minister. Reverend Leslie's brother, Charlie, will light the chalice, symbol of our faith, as I read the words of Reverend Scott Taylor, who was inspired by John Shar. May this flame cast its light toward the coming days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place we are going, but a place we are creating. The path of new possibilities will not be found, but made. A new world is waiting to be built. May our time together light the way. We also light the peace candle to remind ourselves that peace is a process that requires work, that peace is not merely an absence of conflict, but the presence of justice.
Okay, we have a blessing poem video for us.
What to Remember When Waking by David White.
In that first, hardly noticed moment in which you wake, coming back to this life from the other, more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where everything began.
Where everything began. There is a small opening in the new day, which closes the moment you begin your plans.
What you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough for the vitality hidden in your sleep.
To be humble is to become visible while carrying what is hidden as a gift to others.
To remember the other world in this world is to live in your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest on this earth.
You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents.
You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents.
You were invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged.
You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You were invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged.
Now, looking for the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love?
What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky?
Is it waiting in the fertile sea? In the trees beyond the house? In the life you can imagine for yourself?
What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself? In the open and lovely white page on the writing desk. Okie dokie, folks. Congratulations.
That was good. All right, and now it's time for all ages. Sarah Grenier will come and join us. Right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Grenier, the UCF religious educator. So this past week in children's religious classes, we talked about some big questions. What does a UU minister do? What is an installation? What makes a good minister? And what do you need from your minister? We had some wonderful, insightful conversations. So after discussing the role of a minister, we kind of expanded on this idea of an installation. I asked, what does the word installation make you think of? One person said, an art installation, a statue. Next slide. Another said, installing a game on your phone. Next slide. Or actually, same one, sorry. And another said, installing a new part, like a light fixture. So we agreed installing something means it can be useful and improve your situation, or like an art installation or statue, it can bring beauty and inspiration. And to me, that's exactly what we're doing here today. This ceremony is the art installation, and Reverend Leslie is our beautiful piece of artwork. We can't download her to our phones and tablets, but we can play IRL, as the kids say, or in real life. We are installing her as a part of our congregation, much like that upgraded light fixture in the picture. She will light our way as our faith leader, and I can't wait to see how she guides us and our congregation to live out our values through accomplishing our biggest dreams yet. Now, the way to get there starts right here and now, with the quality of our relationships and connections, especially for the next generation. So we discussed what those kids that we have needed from and wanted from Reverend Leslie, and this is traditionally called a charge from the children. However, that word didn't quite fit right for us. So we really want to invite, as that beautiful poem said, invite Reverend Leslie and the children into relationship together. So now will the children come forward and read what they hope for their relationship with Reverend Leslie. So come on up, guys. I know you're hiding over there in the quiet room. Come on up, Soleil, Riley, Aiden, Amira, Oliver. Okay. So we discussed it, and I compiled all their wishes into these 6 phrases. Okay? You guys can look at the screen. Next slide. Okay, you're study together. Ready? May we play together. May we listen to each other. May we help and support one another. May we comfort one another. May we teach and trust each other. May we love one another. And then you say it to next slide. And say, Reverend Leslie, will you do this with us?
Yes. Yes, I will. Very
Yay! All right, amen and blessed be.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So now we send our younger ones off to be in community together, and we invite you back later for part of the ritual later. We sing to you the blessing song.
It's a blessing I was born, and it matters what I do. What I know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty of love be what I do, and you don't have to do it alone. Blessing you were born, and it matters what we do. What we know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty we love be what we do, and we don't have to do it alone.
Cha cha cha. All right. And now Reverend Lisa Garcia Sims. Sampson, sorry.
When I was sitting down there, I said, Alyssa, what are the odds that that people will be able to see me over the pulpit? I'm 4'11". I got it. I'm good. You're kidding, there is? That's awesome. Oh man, that's so cool. Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. I serve as the Executive Director of the Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of North Carolina, and it is an incredible honor and pleasure to be here today. On behalf of you, Justice NC, and our partner congregations across the state of North Carolina, I extend my warmest congratulations to you, Reverend Leslie. Where are you? There you are. I also want to extend my congratulations to you and this entire congregation on behalf of my dear friend, the Reverend Julica Germán de la Fuente, who was originally scheduled to offer this homily but could not be here today due to family issues. She sends her love. We are gathered here today in these times which are both historic and brimming with possibility. Just about an hour ago, I was on the phone with my partner who, alongside UU leaders from across the country, have joined thousands of others in Alabama today to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. That's right. This, of course, following last week's Supreme Court ruling, which has decimated what remained of the Voting Rights Act, that which has triggered the redrawing of maps across the South to strip people of color from representation from Reverend Leslie's home state of Louisiana to Alabama to Tennessee. And if there's anything left to gerrymander in North Carolina, rest assured the effects will soon be felt here too. And it is in this political era, in this singular and defining moment in American history, that you have begun your shared ministry as a beacon of progressive values in a deep red city. A community in which many at best see our progressive values as a nuisance, and at worst, as a threat. I know this because when somebody shows up and tells you that they don't like your flags, I get a call. I understand the courage that it takes to bring Stormy Day here to do a drag story hour, to write letters to the editor publicly stating that maybe Representative Greg Murphy, who is a doctor of all things, should maybe support Medicaid funding. Mr. Mayor, you like healthcare, right? Think people should have it? That's amazing. That is so cool. It is nice to be among people who share our radical and some may say dangerous views. Your ministry here is different than in other congregations in Raleigh and Durham and in progressive cities across this state. That's just the truth. And that makes your responsibility and the opportunity of your ministry all the more greater. Today, I have been asked to offer this homily on the topic of shared ministry and what it looks like in these times and in this place. So first, let's ask, what is shared ministry? Elaine McCardle writes that, quote, "The concept of shared ministry is ascendant within Unitarian Universalism today. It means sharing leadership by transcending hierarchies and rethinking traditional divisions among the roles of ministers, religious educators, musicians, lay leaders, and others. Shared ministry is an approach, collaborative, interconnected, less strictly hierarchical, that lives into the faith's highest values." Today, I want to speak about how this new, still emerging model of leadership powerfully reflects our theology. That we all belong and are responsible to an interconnected web of relationships, and that we share in the sacred and ever unfolding act of creation. Specifically today, I'd like to share some brief reflections. Now, you said 40-minute sermon? Is that what you said? No, I'm just kidding. I got it. Just kidding. It's a joke. I'd like to briefly reflect on 3 core tenets of shared ministry that I have experienced within my own context within our statewide justice ecosystem here in North Carolina. First, shared ministry is about a more balanced distribution of both responsibilities and power across the congregation. Whereas traditional approaches to ministry often reflected a consolidation of power with the minister, and, well, for female ministers at least, an over-distribution of responsibility. But really, how bad is it, though? I mean, all we used to ask of female ministers is that they offer sermons, pastoral care, be on call 24/7, because that's what ministers do. Make the newsletter, organize the storage closet, possibly fix the boiler, and only once a year, on a long winter's night, deliver presents to all the good children of the world. Reasonable expectations, right? No. We know that ministers are not Santa. They're not our mom. And while they play a critical role in the ministry of the church, they alone are not the ministry of the church. But even though we know this, even as this culture shift within our tradition is happening, we still must remember and be vigilant in not falling into those tendencies. Back when I was in seminary, I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly where I was sitting and in what class I was in. When I read the statistic and heard the statistic, that a staggering percentage of ministers, especially female ministers, leave ministry in their first 5 years. And this historical tendency has a lot to do with it, because those old expectations were too often unsustainable. That's why shared ministry, that is why what we strive for today is so essential to this congregation's ability to meet this moment with the power and resilience and nimbleness that it demands. So the good news is, Reverend Leslie, you are not alone. But you are a part of a larger web of people holding this ministry. And as a quick pro tip, I would encourage you all to give Reverend Leslie a gift that my UU Justice NC board gives me every single year. It's not so much as a gift as a question. They ask me, what is it that you are doing right now that somebody else can do? What is it that somebody else can take off of Reverend Leslie's plate so that she can have more space to do the things that she is uniquely positioned to do for this community? I encourage you to ask her that every year, if not more often. Of course, it is also the case that this evolution of leadership models comes with its own challenges for us ministers. Most notably, it pushes us to let go of some of our control. Or maybe what a Buddhist might reframe as letting go of the illusion that you are ever in control in the first place. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean abdicating our responsibility to lead within the system. You have unique skills and contributions that are essential to the health and success of this congregation. That is why you have been called here. But also it calls all of us to honor the fact that the ministry of this congregation began long before you, as Susan Fetzer just described, and will live long after you. We as ministers and other religious professionals are blessed to play a role that we do for a sacred but temporary moment in the life of this community, but the members of this community are the keepers of its ministry. The second thing I want to talk about is how the heart of shared ministry is in relationships and how we tend to them in all of their complexity and dynamism. Shared ministry is not like a crock pot meal where as long as you have all the right ingredients, or in this case a balance and a clear delineation of roles and responsibilities, you're good to set it and forget it. No. Shared ministry, true shared ministry, is more like grits. You have to keep stirring it. You have to keep tending to it, or else you get lumps. And once you get lumps, it's a whole thing. You know this. You're from Louisiana. To move away from the food analogy, shared ministry is constantly in motion, adjusting to every changing dynamics within and beyond this system. A great example of that is this week. Julica had a family emergency, no problem, I'll slide in for Julica. Yesterday I had a root canal, no problem. Reverend Caleb filled in for me at Friday Action Hour. Caleb, my colleague, he wants to do chaplaincy training this summer, great, we'll make adjustments to support him and help him pursue that professional development. We know what it is. This is what healthy families do, this is what healthy communities do, and this is what we are called to do. And the way that we stir the proverbial grits so that they don't get lumps is constant attention and attunement to our relationships within the system. We do this through communication and connection, through our attention to who in the system is holding too much, who needs support. And beyond that, we must be attuned to whether or not people's skills are being fully utilized, if their authority is being respected, if communication is flowing effectively, if we are in right relationship, or if tensions exist within our system. I was reflecting on this yesterday, and I realized that earlier in my ministry, the things that used to keep me up at night would be that list of things that I didn't get done during the day. But more often now, what I think about at the end of the day is what relationships do I need to tend to? Am I in right relationship with all the people in my system? That peace of mind is far more important than if everything on the to-do list is completed. Now, of course, there's nuance to this. For one, at the end of the day, the to-do list is, of course, very important because we have the moral responsibility to powerfully execute our mission in the world. And right relationship is not the same as everyone liking you. Because let's tell the truth, that in all times, and especially in these times, that anxiety lives in our system, that we carry baggage. Sometimes we grasp for power in unhealthy ways. These are the lumps and the grits that sometimes are beyond our control. But what is within our control is that we are acting within our integrity and our values in the ways that we engage with one another. That is how we honor our interdependence. The third and final thing that I want to say is that shared ministry is really about shared faith and how the sacred act of co-creation is rooted in faith. In my role at UU Justice NC, in addition to working with our 28 congregations, I get to work within the Blueprint North Carolina ecosystem of over 120 partner organizations from across the state, from the mountains to the coast, from big name groups like the ACLU and Common Cause and Democracy NC, all the way down to our local frontline groups. It's a lot of people. I also have the huge privilege of serving as the lead convener of Blueprint's Faith Table. More people. Muslim, Jewish, Quaker, Christian, Buddhist, UU, witches, you name it. And together, we are constantly weaving a new way forward through connection and trust. We are all a part of this sacred act of co-creation, each contributing parts to the larger whole. And what impresses me the most about this ecosystem is the deep instinct and commitment to collaboration, the letting go of control, the having faith that we are united in a shared values and a shared vision, and knowing that we have the moral responsibility to do together what we cannot do alone. And from my vantage point, what I understand to be the special sauce of our movement is faith. Not faith that we all share a perfectly unified theology, but faith in us. Faith in our movement. Faith in our values. Faith that our collective power can usher in a new day in North Carolina. Do you actually believe it? Even here. Yesterday I was talking to Harriet. There you are, Harriet. I was talking to Harriet about the incredible growth and momentum that your congregation has been experiencing over the years. And she said something that so beautifully captured this element of shared ministry. She said that this new building, that the incredible Reverend Sally White Center across the way, she said that creating this was an act of faith. In a time when there were so many other things in our culture sending you the exact opposite message of what to do, your shared vision for this ministry was strong enough and loud enough to cut through the noise. You had the courage and the clarity and the faith to live out your ministry. Beloveds, keep going, because this town needs you. And as beautiful as this congregation's history has been, believe deep in your bones that the best is yet to come. Beloveds, may you embrace your shared ministry with courage and humility and trust in one another. May you claim your place in this sacred web. And may your shared faith carry you forward as co-creators of a more just and loving future for us all. May it be so. Amen. I'll be back up in a bit, so I'll just say that.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lisa. Okay. And now we have a prayer by Reverend Carrie McAvoy.
Spirit of life and love, God of many names and no name at all. Today we celebrate the deepening of a covenant between a congregation and their minister, between the Coastal Fellowship and Reverend Leslie Runnels. This relationship has been growing over the years you have been together, growing in trust, growing in vulnerability, growing in faith that you belong together in community. May we give thanks to all those whose faith, dedication, and commitment and guidance made it possible for this moment to happen today. May we acknowledge all of the events, the good, the mundane, the heartbreaking, all of these events that brought all of us together today at this moment in this place. May we remember that today is a celebration of a covenant being made. May we also remember that to keep a covenant is not always easy. Spirit of life and love, please be present when we face conflict. Give us the humility to gain greater understanding of each other. Please strengthen our hope and connect us with our joy when the world as it is does not resemble the world as it should be. Please inspire grace when we face imperfection. Please remind us to keep love at the center of all that we do, and remember that we are stronger together than we are apart. And that beloved community is created when we are all seen and celebrated for all that we are. May it be so. Amen.
In our so we have our offering. So I need to ushers.
Wait. First we have to inspire them to generosity. We've had poetry, we've had words of inspiration, we've had a beautiful, beautiful prayer, and now, oh Lord, he's going to talk about money. It matters how the inflection is in that sentence. Oh Lord, he's going to talk about money. But really, there's a reading in our hymnal by Ellen Johnston Fay that says the offering is a sacrament in the free church. Now, I know there are some of us in this room for whom that word sacrament gives you the willies. It's too religious. But it's an important word. A sacrament, very simply, is a physical act that embodies our relationship with one another, within us and beyond us, as well to everything that is the source of all value. A physical act that embodies our values. That's a sacrament. That idea connects for us to a historic truth. I love history. Our forebears, our free church ancestry dates back to a time 400 years and more ago when governments supported the established churches of the day through taxes that you paid no matter what church you might attend or want to attend. Our spiritual ancestors fought long and hard for the freedom to give their financial support only to their own religious communities, something that we take for granted today, something that perhaps we even think, well, what were they thinking? Now we have to do it. So we wonder, but it's a gift. In reality, the freedom to choose where our offering goes is something to give thanks for and to meet with a generosity that is born out of that gratitude. So today's offering is going to be divided between the Unitarian Universalist Association's Living Tradition Fund and an organization called Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, also known because we love our acronyms as BLUE. The Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly established the Living Tradition Fund in 1988 and requested that ordination and installation services held in member societies include an offering to that fund. Over the years, that has become a tradition among us, and here we are today. The Living Tradition Fund provides need-based scholarships for theological students who are in the UUA credentialing program. It offers new minister assistants to reduce the burden of high educational debt and repayment. It offers emergency assistance, grants to ministers, religious professionals, and other congregational staff, retired ministers, and their loved ones. Having these funds available is a tremendous help to our ministers. Speaking just for myself, assistance with educational debt as someone who entered the ministry in, shall we say, midlife, meant that my student loans did not follow me into retirement. I expect most of our colleagues here, Leslie included, either have a story of our own or we know of someone very well who has benefited from the generosity of contributions like you're being asked to make today. Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism was founded in 2015 at the Movement for Black Lives convening in Cleveland, Ohio. Blue, as it's most commonly known now, evolved from several conversations among the dozen or so black UUs who were present at that gathering in Cleveland. Since then, Blue has grown into an independent organization that creates life-giving and sometimes life-saving opportunities for spiritual community and black-centered organizing. Reverend Leslie has said that Blue's contributions have influenced her own growth around anti-racism work, and that is true for many Unitarian Universalists. As those of us who had the opportunity to attend the 2017 General Assembly in New Orleans remember, the value of Blue was made vividly clear in a series of sessions and conversations about the historical contributions of Black Unitarian Universalists and about our association's sometimes mixed history with regard to our legacy of American white supremacy. The General Assembly then voted to substantially fund Blue and has continued to support it as an important resource, both for Black Unitarian Universalists and for all of us. So I encourage you to generously support that and all other, the Living Tradition Fund as we receive today's offering, because as we know, the deep peace of the running wave, the deep peace of the quiet earth, the deep peace of the flowing air, the deep peace of the shining star, the deep peace of the infinite peace, they are self-sustaining. But here in our human communities, they require us to sustain them with our hands, with our hearts, and yes, with our funding. So may it be. Let's receive the offering.
All right, please join in blessing this offering with hymn number 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
to begin our act of installation. Yay!
Welcome, everyone. I am the president of the Board of Trustees. Lift up the microphone. And I have this wonderful cadre of women who are always keeping me straight. Couldn't do it without them. Thank you. But as I said before, I am the president of the Board of Trustees, and I'm honored to do that. And I'll be rolling off pretty quickly, but I've enjoyed every moment of my time. So we gather this wonderful evening to install the Reverend Leslie Runnels as our full-time settled minister. The Unitarian Coastal Fellowship was chartered in 1980, and we're grateful to have charter member Susan Fetzer with us this evening. She was about 5 years old, right, when it started. Over 46 years, UCF has deepened its worship, strengthened its programs, expanded its social action, and grown in visibility influence within the community. Reverend Leslie will be our second full-time minister following Reverend Sally White, who served with us for 18 years. As our minister, we look to you for spiritual leadership, theological insight, and historical perspective. We ask for your assistance in guiding the congregation's mission, vision, and programs. You will lead in partnership with lay leaders, helping guide the congregation's ministries, operations, and shared life. Reverend Leslie Runnels, are you ready to be installed as a full-time settled minister of the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship?
I am.
That was easy, wasn't it? So I'm going to ask the members of this congregation to stand and read with me the words that will be on the screen. Everyone else remain seated. I'll have a job for you in a minute. Are we ready? We, the members of the Unitarian Fellowship,
Do hereby install you, Reverend Leslie Runnels, as a full-time minister of our congregation. For our part, we
strive to live out the congregation's mission and vision,
and to work with you with strong and effective leadership. Together we will
work to broaden the meaning of beloved community. We will be open to change and vow to communicate in a forthright and respectful manner with you and each other.
We pledge
To support shared ministry with our time, our talents, and resources.
It is an honor and a joy to continue our shared ministries together as we work and play to build beloved community. Right here in this congregation, at home with our families, our neighbors, and our connected communities, and in the larger world. I will lead with care, listening with my giraffe ears, holding covenant most sacred, and rejoicing in the beauty of transformation.
And now, will all who've not risen yet, colleagues, family, and friends, please rise in spirit or in body to bear witness to the act of installation and read the words on the screen. We do this installation and this ministry. May the congregation and the minister both be blessed with strength and wisdom in the years of hard and holy work ahead.
Exchange of gifts.
Okay, thank you. All right, and now on to our exchange of gifts with Sarah Sutherland, Reverend Leslie, and Sarah Grenay.
And some children.
Oh, yeah. Where that?
We're inviting the children back. Y'all come on back if you're ready. Okay, stand.
Am I too short?
It's me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sarah Sutherland. I was on the installation team, and we have a gift for Reverend Leslie. Today is a day of joy for all of us here at the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. As we come together today to install Reverend Leslie Runnels as our settled minister, and our fellowship is grateful that we have chosen each other. As we go forth to make a difference in the world around us, we will follow you, and you will follow us in our shared ministry. Inspired by the blessings of deep peace and the colors of the sea on the banners hanging in this sacred space we call home, this stole was chosen as it reflects all that we are and hope to be in the spirit of love. Reverend Leslie, as we bestow this installation stole to you as a symbol of our Unitarian Coastal Fellowship and all that we stand for here in Eastern North Carolina, let us take a moment to reflect the true spirit of love and the life within our fellowship.
So my gift to you is a very simple gift, but it is a sturdy gift. It is made of metal and glass, and it is meant to hold whatever we need it to hold, whether that is beauty or whether that is terror, because we need to hold all the things.
This is an emotional day. I was also on the search committee before I was even the religious educator, so I've been holding back tears this whole time as well. So I'm glad there's tissues up here. From the children, if you know Reverend Leslie, you know she does some beautiful artwork. And so I traveled with her recently this year, and she had this journal artwork that she did during our conference, and it's just mesmerizing what she can do with watercolors. So the children have a journal, but they have drawn pictures to her, and they have drawn little notes to her, and I have wrapped it in the tea time blanket from the nursery. So Leslie's going to turn this journal into a beautiful piece of artwork with the words and the other pieces of artwork from the children. So, yes.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
And hugs to those of you that are hiding. Let me just see if I can find something real quick. Congratulations on your installation, and thank you for staying. We are happy to have you here, by Riley Prestowich. Thank you, Riley.
Okay. Let us now sing a gift to each other. Please rise in body or spirit as we lift our hearts together with "We Shall Be Known."
Okay, we're going to sing this through twice, and the second time around we'll sing the ending twice. Follow my hands. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap seeds of change, alive with deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Start over. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Feel the Spirit. And now, the laying on of hands with Reverend Gay Morris.
Good afternoon. You'll be glad to know that we're moving into the calisthenics portion of the service now. So let me invite you to consider what we're about to do with the laying on of hands. Ours is a relational faith, and we covenant with each other as humans have done from generation to generation in a branching line forward, modeled by the ancient promises made by peoples to their gods. And thus we now employ, through the laying on of hands, a visible sign of this community that's consisting of religious leadership and covenantal community in our faith tradition. The important bond symbolized here today is between the congregation and its minister. But there is a greater relationship and promise of relationship implicit in this ritual. And it's so sweetly and completely expressed in the lyrics we just sang. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. The company we keep today consists of those who love, admire, and trust Reverend Leslie to live out her call and her gifts in service to this congregation. And along with this wonderful community, she will help to tend the fires, the flames of love, of justice, and of compassion that reach outside the walls of this sanctuary to make a brighter future for our world. As we circle around this afternoon to lay our hands on Reverend Leslie, the singular blessing of touch demonstrates our faith in the wholeness of life, embodied physically and in its sacredness through the spirit of life. And I love the idea, as my husband has expressed to me, in an age of electronic presence and simulated connection, we are daring here to proclaim the countercultural message that some things still require the touch of human hands. So please listen to my instructions on the way we're going to proceed so we don't have a stampede. So, Reverend Leslie, I invite you to to come down here and face the gathered body of faith. And I invite your brother to come up and stand next to you. And actually, you might not want to bring your orders of service up here because you're going to be using your hands. And you don't need to read anything. Okay. So now I ask for our ministers to come and surround her in kind of a semicircle in front and place your hands on her and perhaps one another if you can't quite reach her. And now I invite those in the first rows to come forward gently to make a bridge between the people here and the people who are going to come behind you. So come on over this way. And now I invite everyone to come up, and as you come up, place one hand in front of you and the other to someone beside you. Come on up. You can fill in over here on the side. There you go. You can fill in the front. Yeah? Everyone should be touching someone as we go back. Come on out. I ask you, before I have the words for the laying on of hands, just to enjoy the peace and the tenderness of this moment. Leslie, may these hands always reach out to you and each other with love, tenderness, and respect. May these hands continue with intention to build a loving, caring relationship that lasts through the years. And with these hands, we bless you and your ministry, and in turn, we are blessed. May the life that flows among us all now flow forward with you and onward into every life you touch. Blessed be. Amen.
Yes. I can introduce you. It's fine if you want to just.
I know it feels like we're done. You don't get to do these very often, so the goal is to get you here for at least 2 hours. I have the first charge, which is the charge to the minister. You may know her. I was looking around here, and it occurred to me that I am the bridge from your formation into ministry. So those who don't know me, my name is Nathan. I'm one of the ministers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It is the church where Leslie did her internship, and I've been mentoring her through that. So this charge is, it's the shift from, and I realize all of your colleagues are North Carolina colleagues, so like we're holding down the fort, and there's like one other family in the back for the Louisiana folks. But you have shifted from what is the formation period into the like fully on serving the people, where you put into practice everything you've learned, and also you discover everything that they forgot to teach you. Did you all know that ministers are considered self-employed and we pay like an extra $10,000 in taxes? Yeah, they don't teach us that. So, I also know, as part of the charge, people love lists. And so I have just 5 charges for you, short charges for you. The first one is that you take your time off. There is no end to the work that you are doing with these folks. There's no amount of love that is enough. There's no amount of caring that is enough. Every crisis that every member of this church goes through, they have every right to want their minister to be with them through it. These are the big things like deaths and diagnoses and crises, but they're also the small things, like finance committee meetings and those little 2-minute conversations after church. And yes, you are called to serve them in all of these moments. But because there is no end to these moments, and the more you as a church grow, the more these moments grow, it is not, and because they deserve a minister that is not only fully present to them, but a minister who models for them what this type of work-life balance could be for you all to be able to go to your boss and say, I'm sorry, I know you want me to work 60 hours. My minister doesn't do it, and so it's against my religion. But to honor that charge, it means that you will be away sometimes when people need you. And that is hard. I don't have an answer. I've been doing this like 14 years. I don't know how to do it, but you have to do it. You need to go on vacation. You need to go back to Louisiana for your high holy days. That's Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest for you all. You need to take your study leave. You need to take your sabbaticals, plural, because every 5 to 7 years you're going to give one, I think, in your contract. Plural would mean a long ministry. You do this as a gift to you, as a gift to them, and to the next minister who will be here after you. 2, you are there to be their minister, but not to do their things. Our job is ambiguous. It feels weird to spend 12 hours thinking about a sermon, 2 hours driving to and from a hospital, 50 minutes talking with someone who had a question about something. Maybe it's even paint color, and then another 2 hours on the phone with a colleague trying to understand the history of Hosea Ballou's Treatise on Atonement. And it just feels a lot cleaner to get paid to edit the newsletter, or to print the order of service, or to work through the nuances of the budget, but that is not what they are asking you to do. As someone who chases the siren's call of tasks, believe me when I tell you, if you do it for them, it's not going to go well. 3, never forget that as you get lost into the slog of the day-to-day, that you really only have 3 tasks. Here's a little trick. I stuck a list of 3 in my list of 5. Your only 3 tasks are to care for the souls, care for the congregation, and care for this world. That's it. That's it. Caring for their souls means being a curator for their stories. It means listening to them and knowing that over time, you all don't listen to this part. Over time, they will get sick. Some of them will relapse. Some of them will die. Your calling is to serve them through all of this. And the longer you do it, the more you get to know their stories, and the more you get to know them, the harder it will be as you do it. That means the better you are at this, the harder it will be. All right, you all can listen again. Caring for this congregation means always prioritizing what is best for this church and for our faith. It might be easier to relent and to let the perpetual complainer onto a committee you're working with, or to say, you know what, fine, you wanted to do a guest sermon that's 45 minutes long on the faith journey of Beethoven's second nephew. Sure, why not? Let's just do it. But you are not called to give every person everything they want. You are called to do what is in the best interest of this congregation and in this faith. And caring for the larger world means always remembering we are called to bring about paradise on this earth. We are not called to save some of the people or only love some of the people. We are not called to make ourselves feel better at the expense of others. We are called to love the hell out of this entire world. Part of doing that leads into the fourth charge. See, I'm going through them quick. We're good. The fourth charge. You need to remember who you are and where you come from. I'm not just saying that as a Louisianian to a Louisianian. I'm saying that because that is one of the things this country wants us not to do. At the simplest, I am charging you to always remember to bring all of your identities and your cultural experiences and expectations into the ministry. Tell them about gumbo. Tell them about how when you're walking down the street and you run into someone you barely know, you accidentally get stuck in a 20-minute conversation. Tell them about how the people where you're from have an entire closet just for costumes. That's not code for anything. It's just literally factually true. But it is bigger than that. From before its founding, this country preserved power at the very top by telling people that there were false dichotomies and false binaries. We could never unite to overthrow those at the top so long as there were different groups of people and they used the terms white and black for those different groups of people. And if we can just forget where we come from and all of our specific cultures and identities, then it's simply two groups. And those two groups will always fight and never, ever be able to unite. Because a white boomer from Chicago is culturally very different from a white millennial from San Diego. When you serve, where you serve is a different culture from where you are from. The people you serve come from a different culture from where you are from. This charge is to get to know them, to get to know their cultures, and to be curious about how these cultures are the same and different from yours. All of us have a deep thread that connects us throughout all of our past and even stretches into the future. You are the voice of that thread. No, actually, you are the voice of that thread. I mean, it's you, but everyone. Never lose yours and never ask someone else to let go of theirs. And my final charge to you is a little bit of a bonus charge. We only have a small amount of time to be alive on this earth. We only have a small amount of time to be alive on this earth together, and your job is to celebrate this life with this congregation. It doesn't matter what is happening out in the world, which is, I think, one of the most important things we can say right now. Nothing should stop you from celebrating together. It is a gift to be together today. Never let them forget that.
It's me again. It is my privilege to, beyond the things I already said, to offer this brief charge to this congregation. Over the past 7 years, I have had the incredible privilege of getting to know this congregation. I have witnessed the joy of Reverend Sally's white retirement party at the train depot. I have sat on the porch with Barb and Bob on a summer's day, witnessed the miracle of soft-shell crabs with Penny and Mark, and admittedly, I have lived vicariously from time to time through Amy and Lee's Facebook posts from Dollywood. Y'all know how to have fun. That's probably why you live here. In the words of C.S. Lewis, you have, at least from my vantage point, quote, the talent for happiness in a high degree, going straight for it, just as experienced travelers go for the best seat on the train. But what I love most about this congregation is that you pursue justice with the same ferocity in which you pursue joy. You all work your butts off to be a beacon of progressive values in a community where your views are not the majority. not just within this building, but you pursue justice beyond it. Long before last year's local elections, you knew the power of a single vote. Running voter registration drives at the community college and with You Can Vote. You volunteer helping people across the state navigate the Medicaid system. The way you have showed up in court in solidarity with Indigenous partners from 7 Directions of Service. That meant so much to Mama Jane and their crew, by the way. It's a story I have told truly dozens of times across the state as an example of what solidarity looks like. You pursue justice with the same ferocity in which you pursue joy. And so here is my charge to this congregation: to claim joy as one of your greatest gifts, and to honor the sacred relationship between joy and justice. Because in the words of the poet Toy Derricott, joy is an act of resistance. Joy is not counter to the movement, it is the purpose of the movement. Love and joy and rest and abundance, these are the things we are fighting for. And therefore, these are the things we should be fighting with. That is the difference between a movement rooted in only opposition. That is the difference between a movement that is defined by what we are fighting against and a movement rooted in the powerful story of what we are fighting for. A movement that is loving, life-giving, and irresistible. And that loving movement for justice is exactly what the people of this city and this community need to be invited into. So here is my specific invitation to you. Again, beyond all the other stuff that I already said, I would have said some stuff differently if I hadn't done the sermon. Even in the hardest moments, root yourselves in love and joy and abundance. Know that joy is your birthright, and that part of all of our call as people of faith is to help create a world where that birthright can be claimed by all. Nourish your own spirits, trusting that when you do, you are not extracting from the beloved community, you are helping to sustain it. And one specific thing, perhaps a spiritual practice you may consider. When you come through the doors of this church, may this space be a space of joy. Every time you walk over or move over this threshold of this building, I invite you to close your eyes if it's safe, take a deep breath, and let joy wash over you. Open yourself to receive every blessing this world offers you. And when you leave this space, carry that joy with you and let it sustain you and guide you in service to this community. Because this town needs you, and you know that. So lead with joy. Lead with that irresistible, loving spirit. And the movement for justice will continue to grow here in Carteret County and across the state. That is my charge to you. Thank you.
Closing hymn? Okay. All right, let us join our voices together in joyous song once more. Please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
God
That was our hymn. All right, awesome. Okay, please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now in Español. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad, o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. Okay.
It is UCF tradition to join hands and form something that resembles a circle around the edges of this sanctuary. We might be able to open up the door to allow for a little extra space should we need it, but please join hands. If you'd like to stay in the middle and be surrounded by a bunch of love, hang out. Oh yeah, and that other little one too. Is everybody connecting? That's a little tighter circle. It's actually very, well, kind of circly. Nice. All right. We'll get one more hooked up there. All right. How beautiful to be woven together in covenant and care. May our ministries always be rooted in love, guided by curiosity, and sustained by courage, and always widening into deeper compassion and peace. It is my honor to be with you. We are not accidents amidst other accidents, so let us to continue to build the world we dream of living in. Amen. Amen.
Amen.